Webinar. Again, my name is Ankur Patel. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning webinar, Bhagavad Gita for the Beginner. And our special guest is Gopi V. Prasadji. He's on with us now. And, being Hindu, of course, we know about the Bhagavad Gita and a lot of people know about it, but there's so much to it and so many layers to it. And every generation we're exploring it, retranslating it, having discussions. And thank you for joining us today for this important webinar as we introduce a course for the beginner on the Bhagavad Gita and how you can get plugged in. So let me introduce our speaker, Sri Gopi V. Prasadji. He's actually got an MBA from the Bremen University of Applied Sciences in Germany. He's been involved in the study of the Bhagavad Gita since childhood. He's got some stories, hopefully he'll share. He's the founder, president, and managing director of Glowman Group, a cutting-edge educational firm which has its presence in Germany and in India and around the world. His experience in the field of education has led to the creation of G-Education model, which is applied in the development and dissemination of structured learning programs on the Bhagavad Gita. Hence why we're having this webinar and introducing you to him and the course that he's teaching this quarter in fall, the next quarter in fall. And he's also the recipient of the Sri Sardar Patel Award in 2010. Gopiji, welcome. Thank you for being on. And let me hand it over to you. I know you have some students that we're gonna have some testimonials from, but let's just have you start us off on your maybe story a little bit, how you got plugged in and how you see us learning and sharing the Bhagavad Gita.
Namaste, Ankurji. Thank you very much for the generous introduction, and namaste to everyone who has joined us today on this webinar on Saturday. So I'm joining you all from Hamburg, Germany. It's 6 p.m. Here, and maybe for most of you it's in the morning. And I also see some participants from India. Great. It's always an honor and a pleasure to be amongst the colleagues in Hindu University of America. It's such a synergizing experience always when I speak to one of the faculty members or, Ankurji, for example, and so on. And about me, I live in Germany, in Hamburg since 2006. Prior to it, I lived in India. I studied in Sri Aurobindo School in Tadipatri, in my native place. The school is devotees of Sri Aurobindo Pondicherry Ashram. And we had, as part of our regular curriculum, yoga and Bhagavad Gita as part of it. So that's how my initial interaction and introduction to Bhagavad Gita has happened. Somehow it caught my attention all along my life. I've been referring to it on and off. From very recently, since 2018, I started digging very deep into it and trying to see how this great divine wisdom can be given to beginners, be it children, be it adults, people being busy in regular affairs of life. They begin to start reading Bhagavad Gita, sometimes a little late. But so my idea is not a particular age group, but anybody across the age groups, as long as you are a beginner to Bhagavad Gita and you are just starting to understand Bhagavad Gita, starting to learn Bhagavad Gita, starting to know Bhagavad Gita. So the first question is where to start from and how to go about it. It's a 700 shlokas. The total Bhagavad Gita contains, and 18 chapters. Each chapter has a unique wisdom in it. And so as I went through this question myself, and since 2018, with the help of some support here and there, today the whole journey has come into a beautiful outcome, which is a set of 3 structured learning courses on Bhagavad Gita. I named it as Sadhana, Sodhana, and Vadana. Sadhana is more of a practice, getting acquainted with the knowledge, the pronunciation of Bhagavad Gita. Sodhana is where we get deeper into the meanings of these shlokas, not by just one acharya, maybe a couple of more acharyas, how they interpreted Bhagavad Gita and what those interpretations have for us as wisdom. So this is a kind of a deep learning where we engage ourselves within this stipulated set of shlokas and get into different versions of translations and bhavas by different acharyas. Now, that's Sodhana. And then the third part is Vadana, where we apply the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita onto some of the issues that we face in life in contemporary times and see what Bhagavad Gita has to say about it in terms of solving a problem or dealing with a family situation or trying to get some ideas with the way you are conducting yourself in profession. So here we are going to apply the whole knowledge of the shlokas that we are going to learn from these set of courses. So that is sadhana, sodhana, and vadana. So that's the kind of introduction to the course, and it's bird's eye view of the structure and how we structured it.
Great, thank you, Gopiji. Did you have some examples of some shlokas that you're going to go through and get into your presentation? Yeah, and if you have questions, put them in the Q&A box. We'll get to them at the end. And again, it's always exciting and interesting to see where you are in the world. If you want to put that in the chat and you haven't already, please do that. I'm in Los Angeles, as Gopiji said, he's in Germany. And we've got over 100 people on already, 120. We had over 300 people register. So again, people know the Gita is so important. And we're going to get into, as Gopiji said, the overview of the courses. But in this webinar, we'll get into some examples of how he presents some of that material as well, have some student testimonials. And Gopiji, I'll just hand it over to you and take it, and you can take it which way you want, and just let me know how to support.
Great. So let me share some, basic informations on the screen and also give some impression of some of the ways in which we are trying to make this process of learning Bhagavad Gita easier. We must here recognize the fact is we cannot simplify Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a deeply philosophical scripture in Hindu Dharma, and it has in it the whole essence of Vedas, and hence to simplify Bhagavad Gita is something which is very difficult. However, we can simplify the process of learning Bhagavad Gita. So that is what you will see in my approach, how and by using what kind of tools did I try to simplify the learning process of Bhagavad Gita, make it easier for you to get into Bhagavad Gita. And as Ankurji in his introduction was mentioning, I created an education model, and then later I also named it as G-Education model. And this model stands on three aspects: active, interactive, and collaborative learning methodologies. And then it has three components, which I call Traividya, Chatussiksha, Panchamedha. So that is the whole foundation of my learning model that I present the concepts. Traividya, as I mentioned, is the three approach: active, interactive, and collaborative approach to knowledge. Chatussiksha is more of a coaching approach that goes deeper into the kind of topic that we are dealing with. Panchamedha refers to the Panchendriya. And if we see the collection of information, the knowledge that we acquire throughout our life is acquired through these 5 different senses. We see something and we gain some knowledge about it, memories about it. And so we call it as Drushya Medha, image memory. How many images can you recollect when you close your eyes and think about some sound or some word? So that's our image memory. And likewise, Gandha Medha, how many smells, odors can we recognize? Shabda Medha, how many sounds can I recognize? Sparsha Medha, what touch, you touch something and you will immediately able to say, what is this, Ruchi Medha, so the taste that we can. So basically, these are the sensory organs. This is where we interact with the world, and that's where we start collecting information. So that is the basic input device, and that is I make use of as many senses as possible. I make as many senses involved in the process of learning. So that is the whole approach that I've taken, and hence we are trying to learn in this course by using our hearing abilities, our pronunciation abilities, our visual abilities in terms of there are graphic illustrations for the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita that I have drawn some cartoons and created. I'm going to share them with you during this webinar. And to pictorially understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita, to see the image and set a context to it and try to understand. So these are the different tools, learning tools that have been incorporated in the whole process. Let me take you through the structure of this whole program. We have a website called gitavidya.org, and we also have all this information on the LMS portal of HUA website. You could go through it in anywhere. So for my convenience, I would like to share it from this portal. I'll try to share it on the screen now. Great. So I hope it's visible there. Yep. You can see the three verticals: sadhana, sodhana, and vadana. So practice the key shlokas of Srimad Bhagavad Gita using the Gita Vidya Sadhana workbook. Practice the vocabulary by copywriting the shlokas in a language of your choice. Practice the accurate pronunciation using the guided audio lessons. Explore the meaning by coloring the images in the Gita Vidya Sadhana workbook. So we have made it, it sounds like elementary school children's activity, but then there is no shortcut to learning and knowledge. And the easiest way is to apply all the senses. So the Gita Vidya workbooks are specially designed for this particular program. I have the books here. I would like to show it on the screen. So if I can just stop sharing and show the books for you. So you all can see. So this is the Gita Vidya Sadhana workbook. And then we have in the workbook, there are 3 of these books. Each book has the graphic illustration of Bhagavad Gita, and then the shlokas that are represented through these graphic illustrations. And these shlokas, the pronunciation of it, you can scan the QR code that is given here, and the QR code will lead you to the website where the accurate pronunciation of these shlokas is available. And then the shlokas are here written in Sanskrit language, Devanagari script. However, there may be somebody who is comfortable with Telugu script in reading Bhagavad Gita, or somebody may be comfortable with Kannada or Tamil. So what we have done is we have created transliteration textbooks that are freely downloadable. And then by looking into these textbooks, you can copy and write the shloka in the language of your choice. So you have the image, you have the shlokas, you have the pronunciation by the QR code, and then you are writing it in your choice of language, those who are comfortable with Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada. So we have it in 24 different languages. These transliteration textbooks are available in 24 different languages, 12 Indian languages and 12 world languages. So the Indian languages are Bengali, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Malayalam, Marathi, Oriya, Punjabi, Sanskrit, Tamil, Telugu, and Urdu. So those are all the Indian languages scripts. And in the world languages, we have it in Dutch, English, French, German, Hebrew, Italian, Spanish, Russian, Romanian, Portuguese, Polish, and Japanese. So the content is available in as many multiple scripts as possible, trying to see that as many people can read and recognize the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita from their language. That is the whole point and purpose of it. And then you can copyright the shlokas. And so you have the primary input at your disposal. So this is the book. And then we have 3 books, as I said. Now, what are these 3 different books? So each book is a different module, and there are 3 modules in the whole course. One is Deha, the second one is Jnana, the third one is Yoga. So in Deha module, we have 6 lessons, and these 6 lessons are covering the physical aspects of the human body. And all the shlokas are collected carefully across all different 18 chapters, which refer to that particular topic. Each lesson is a thematic topic, and each theme relates to our day-to-day life. And hence, the knowledge that you are going to get through this course, you can immediately apply in your life. So the great divine wisdom of Bhagavad Gita is not just to cherish in the, in the corner in the puja room, but to derive the knowledge and use it in day-to-day life is the greatest thing. And everybody accepts this. The only question is how to do it. And we tried to come up with an idea that can ease the process of learning and applying the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita immediately in your life. Let me take you through the rest of the presentation here. So those are the 3 verticals, and these are the Deha, Jnana, and Yoga. These are the 3 modules that we are going to cover in the whole program. Each module covers a unique topic. For example, the Deha module presents the material and psychic aspects of the human body in 6 different lessons based on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. First 3 lessons describe the elements of nature, followed by the characteristics of the human body and mind. Next 3 lessons describe the sensory objects, followed by the ways of controlling the senses and the consequences of sense gratification. Basically, there are 2 ways how we can lead our life according to Bhagavad Gita. One, we have these senses, we can control them and reasonably use them and satisfy them and lead our life, which is called sense control. And the other one is sense gratification, that we lead our life in pursuit of satisfying the senses to the fullest possibility. And what happens in each of this path is what we will see in this course. And then in Jnana, the module presents the physical wisdom, social wisdom about the society, occupational wisdom, the wisdom that is useful for your day-to-day career, the job, what we are doing, what Bhagavad Gita has to say about how to perform your job, what kind of basics to be kept in mind, and which will make your life much more purposeful and meaningful and successful. So then mental wisdom, what are the features of this mind and what Bhagavad Gita has to say about how to deal with mind. Emotional wisdom, people are often driven by emotions. We know many things, but we do certain things without taking into account our knowledge. And why it is happening is because the emotions are pushing us in certain way. And then we have the spiritual dimension, the spiritual wisdom. What is spirit, and who am I in real sense? Am I this body? Am I my limbs? Am I my organs? Or am I something more that is more deep within? So this is what we learn in the Jnana module. And in the yoga module, we understand the 4 paths suggested in Bhagavad Gita for realization of the divine within, for the pursuit of union of Atma and Paramatma. And these 4 paths are karma, jnana, dhyana, and bhakti. So we will see in the yoga module each of these paths and what Bhagavad Gita has to say about each of that path. Now, all these lessons put together are 17 in number. What I've done is I've made sure that none of the lessons is having more than 8 or 9 shlokas at the maximum, so that it is not going to be too much in one go, but in a biteable chunks, we kind of deal with it. And each lesson is 8 to 9 shlokas. And after completion of these 8 to 9 shlokas, you will have the satisfaction of saying that, yes, I completed one lesson. That's the kind of an achievement, a feeling of achievement drives you through the course. Every lesson is an achievement. Every achievement is an inspiration to the next one. And we will see that in our course. And then we have, as I said, these course. We have Deha, that is the module. And all these can be seen in detail. So each lesson and the primary objective of each lesson is again explained one by one. So I encourage you to kindly go through this for more details. Now let me talk about the course material. What kind of material are we going to use in the learning process? So the course material consists of workbooks, textbooks, and guided audios. So we have 3 learning elements or components. So the workbooks are just, I showed you how those workbooks look like and how you're going to use them. They are designed and developed to stimulate interest and facilitate learning using graphic illustrations. And then other smart features like QR code, by scanning which you can get to the accurate pronunciation of that particular shloka. The textbooks, as I mentioned, these are the transliteration textbooks. So transliteration means like the shloka remains the same, only the letters will change from one script to the other for the convenience of reading. I could also, for example, share one of that and show how it looks like. So this is what is a transliteration textbook, and these are downloadable in the language of your choice. And what you're seeing is the Sanskrit. And for example, this is the Telugu. So let me take you through the Sanskrit. So you have all the shlokas in Devanagari script. So this is the lesson number 1, the nature, which has around 8 shlokas. Then the next lesson, the body. Then another 8 shlokas. Then we have mind, another 8 shlokas. 4th lesson, 5th lesson, 6th lesson, and that module is complete. So this is how it is. And then the same thing in Telugu. So we have the transliteration textbook and the same shlokas, but now you can read them in Telugu script. So the pronunciation is accurately mentioned. For example, if I Punyo Gandha Prithivyancha Tejaschasmi Vibhavasau Jivanam Sarva Bhuteshu Tapaschasmi Tapasvishu Yadaditya Tejo Jagad Bhasayate Khilam Yachandramasi Yachagno Tattejo Vidhimamakam. Now, this pronunciation we are going to deal in the class in a broken format, Punyo Ganda, and then we repeat it. So we get the word accurately. And why is it important to learn the pronunciation in order to understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita? It only can be realized by doing it. No words are enough for me to explain why it is so important to get the pronunciation, to read, to write the shloka in order to understand the shloka. So that's about the pronunciation part. Now let me take you through the graphic illustrations. Now, how are these graphic illustrations? If, for example, I'll play one of the audios or a video, for example. Okay, so is it possible to share a video, Ankurji?
Yeah, just make sure you hit the share sound. And I see a lot of questions. Right, this is a
good.
webinar where we're covering aspects of the course. Some people thought we were going to actually get into the Bhagavad Gita, but as Gopiji is saying, it takes courses and courses, lots of time and work to actually, dig in and understand what's going on in the Bhagavad Gita. And so I understand that, and the books will be available through the course, right? And I don't know if they can purchase the books individually, but if you enroll in the course, you will also get a physical copy of the book. And I'll put links in the chat as we go through. Gopiji, back to you.
Right. So नत्वेवाहं जातु नासं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपाः न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम् नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनं दहति पावकः न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापो न शोषयति मारुतः देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णान्यन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम् परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृताम् धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यमेवं यो वेत्ति तत्त्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति सोऽर्जुन वीतरागभयक्रोधा मन्मया मामुपाश्रिताः बहवो ज्ञानतपसा पूता मद्भावमागताः That's the end of one lesson and the next lesson. So each of that you can see it's just like 3 minutes. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भूर्मा ते सङ्गोत्स्वकर्मणि अन्नाद्भवन्ति भूतानि पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः यज्ञाद्भवति पर्जन्यो यज्ञः कर्मसमुद्भवः यद्यदाचरति श्रेष्ठस्तत्तदेवेतरो जनः स यत्प्रमाणं कुरुते लोकस्तदनुवर्तते श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वधर्मे निधनं श्रेयः परधर्मो भयावहः यस्य सर्वे समारम्भाः कामसङ्कल्पवर्जिताः ज्ञानाग्निदग्धकर्माणं तमाहुः पण्डितं बुधाः Sannyasah karma yogascha nisreyasakara ubhau. Tayostu karma sannyasat karma yogo vishishyate. Brahmanyadaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha. Lipyatena sapapena padmapatramivambhasa. Adhishthanam tatha karta karanancha prutagvidham.
So because this is for the beginner, a lot of folks don't understand, right, the Sanskrit and getting into it. We're getting that question, and maybe just elaborate on kind of the process of going from a beginner who might be just English speaker, not understanding what the Sanskrit is, and how these layers of tools and books and videos kind of take people from that beginner to understanding what the shlokas actually mean in both either English and in Sanskrit and all this. And there's a lot of chat and questions going on. So if you want to address some of that, how do you actually go from the beginner who doesn't speak or understand Sanskrit to actually appreciating the shlokas like that?
Great. So I think we can take questions here, and while answering these questions, most of other points might also get covered. Let's take some questions.
Yeah, maybe just start with that one, right? So Neil G is asking, is there chanting in English, right? I don't understand the chant. And that other aspect of how do you actually go from a beginner who doesn't speak Sanskrit, understand the shlokas, to appreciating, understanding, interpreting, and applying it? Yeah.
So the shloka is also is a set of vibrations, you know. It's not just mere some collection of words into sentences, but then there is a kind of vibration in each of the shlokas, and that you start realizing as you get the pronunciation right and get it practiced, and you will see to yourself, particularly Bhagavad Gita, when we are trying to understand, trying to extract the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita and try to take it into our lives, the pronunciation of those shlokas makes the whole process much easier. And it is worth taking that effort for those who are, who do not know any of the Indian languages and are completely Westerner and come from English or any other European language background. We do have a word-by-word break of pronunciation in our classes. We try to help you in catching up with the pronunciation of those building blocks of each shloka. And that makes the whole process of learning the pronunciation much, much easier. And then we do have the audios that we have seen right now is a regular pronunciation. So we call it as recitation version. We also have another version of the audio which will be available in the course, which is called guided practice version, where the shloka is broken into parts and each part is repeated twice. So the first time you can listen to it. In the second repetition, you can join the chorus, and that's how the whole practice becomes much easier. So pronunciation is very, very important. It is essential for learning the whole Bhagavad Gita in a right way. Sometimes most of the acharyas who have interpreted Bhagavad Gita, some have Bhagavad Gita interpretations. The volume is 1,500 pages. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada or Swami Chinmayananda, these saints have written translations to the shlokas, and that filled 1,500 pages. And if you have a chance to ask them, have you explained it to your satisfaction? And I'm sure they will say no, because any amount of words is less. To explain in words the essence of Bhagavad Gita, it has to be realized. And the realization is possible when you kind of recite these shlokas and have in the constant memory and see the world through Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavad Gita will manifest within you.
Yeah. Perfect. Veena-ji and Jana-ji both kind of have similar questions, right? The translations of the Bhagavad Gita, are they of a specific translation or a scholar acharya? And is the explanation of the shlokas and the interpretation based on a particular maybe sampradaya, Shankara, or Vaishnavism, or how do you navigate that? And what are you using as the foundation? Because as you said, different acharyas have thousands of pages on these on each of the on the entire Gita, and how do you approach that?
Yeah, so that's a little bit a deeper question about Hindu Dharma, and we do have three majorly referred acharyas: Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, and Madhvacharya, who have put up a complete dimension to the spirituality, the Hindu Dharma, the spiritual process of Hindu Dharma. So in Hindu Dharma, we have across all these different philosophies, we recognize and believe in rebirth and reincarnation. So these are the two common points. We believe that there are janma after janma after janma. That is, we are going to end this life, but then we again take birth in the next life, maybe with a different body. This is believed across all three. Reincarnation, that is, the divine manifests himself in this world for taking care of dharma. And this is also believed in all three belief systems. So they also believe in reincarnation of Krishna, Rama, Parashurama, and all of those things. Now, what is different across these three is the process of realizing divine. Now, one says Brahman is uniform. What is outside is also Brahman. What is inside is also Brahman. It is Jagan Mithya. So the whole world is a kind of an illusion. The true nature is only the Brahman. This is Shankaracharya philosophy. And Ramanujacharya philosophy says that, okay, Brahman is the truth, but what we see is also a truth. And we have to understand these are the two important aspects of this creation. But with the pursuit, with the yoga, with process, you can unite with Paramatma. So that is the philosophy there. That is, Atma can unite with Paramatma through the process of karma, jnana, dhyana, bhakti, any one of them or all of them. And then the third one is, these are two different things and they remain different things. But what we are going to see is, we are not going to incline to any one single philosophy in our course. Rather, we leave it to you. We give you the building blocks. We give you a selected shlokas from across Bhagavad Gita, and you yourself try and see each of that lesson. For example, physical wisdom, the 8 shlokas, and you understand the meaning of it, and you want to go deeper, you at least refer one acharya for the completion of the course. You, in the next course, that is going to come in the Sodhana actually. The sadhana is more of acquiring the knowledge and getting acquainted with the pronunciation. That itself is sufficient. I mean, 3 months is more hardly sufficient, but we somehow figured out a process that we can get you the crux of the Bhagavad Gita in 3 months. And subsequently to it, we will have another course called Sodhana, and that is where we get into the meanings of it. So yeah, the question is appropriate that we have different philosophies. And what we do is we try to cut across all these different philosophies and realize the meaning for our point of view.
Great. We got quite a few more questions coming in. Let me put a quick, I think we have some student testimonials. I don't know if we want to bring those folks in. We're going to get to all your questions. Let me launch this quick poll just right now. Are you kind of interested in the Bhagavad Gita for the beginner? I'll leave that up if you want to wait until your questions are answered. If you're already interested, just click yes. So we're doing this through our learning management system. The courses will be recorded. You will have access to them. All the links will be there. The access to the materials. You'll upload assignments. Gopiji will check your recitation, your chanting, and give you feedback. It's a very interactive course where we are going to, and Gopiji is going to walk you through from beginner, and you're not going to become an expert on the Bhagavad Gita in 10 weeks, but you're going to get on the pathway to really appreciating and getting into it. The books themselves are not in Telugu, right? Or in the languages. You have to go through the QR code, and online the different translations of those languages are available. Is that correct, Gopiji?
Yes. So once you get into the course, you get access to all these transliteration books through the course. And there is a question, what is your Sampradaya? And I'm not initiated. So the Sampradaya is normally taken seriously when you get initiated under one guru. So only they will have a specific Sampradaya. In my case, I studied in normal schools and tried to learn Bhagavad Gita from across different acharyas. So I'm not initiated under any one single Sampradaya. Hope that answers the question there. Parantap, I don't know if you're on the webinar. If you are there, please, can you identify yourself? And probably we can take you in for, yeah. So Parantap is there. So Ankur, is there a way to get Parantap?
Yeah.
Share onto the screen.
Yeah. And I'd also like to announce we're going to give a short discount on the course, a $50 discount if you sign up before Monday, 12 midnight at wherever you're at. We'll be flexible with that, but a short-term discount. If you are on this webinar and you would like to enroll, we want you to be a part of this groundbreaking course. And let's get Paramji on to give a little student testimonial. And the course, and I'll drop some details on the course. It's in the link. It's going to start in October, 10 weeks. We have some holidays that we're going to be taking off. And you can look at the specific schedule and timeline for the course through this link that I'm dropping in the chat. Paramji, thank you for being on.
Namaste, Ankurji. Namaste, Guruji. Namo Nama to everyone. I'm joining, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm joining from Santa Clara, California. I joined Guru Gopiji's course, the Sadhana and the Shodhana course. I still have to do my Vadana course, but I have to present my paper. And I am what you consider as a very typical beginner, having no knowledge in Hindu scriptures, even while growing up in India. I have spent the better part of my life in USA. So I'm a perfect blend of East and West, which is what we are, all of us. I have no knowledge of Sanskrit. So, I took the course exactly, and all these questions are very relevant to when I took the course. No knowledge of Sanskrit, no recitation ability, not even deep knowledge of Gita-ji. But like they say, you never choose Gita-ji, Gita-ji chooses you. So I was fortunate to be able to take this class. And a couple of points, I'm here not to advertise about the class. I'm here to provide my testimonial in terms of what I got from the class. And I'll just make 3 points. The first and the foremost was that this class actually provides you an ability to have an access to a Guruji. As you realize that, any religious scriptures, not just Hindu religious scriptures, tend to become complicated, very quickly. And so having a Guruji and a Guruji like Gopiji at your, for the lack of better word, disposal to ask questions and to break it down for you is probably the best that I got out of the course in terms of how he explains every shloka and in terms of how he conveys the meaning of it. So that was the most important thing for me. The second most important thing for me was I had a lot of questions about, why do we do certain undesirable things in our lives? Is this our genetic makeup? Are these our gunas? Is there any abhyasa that is prescribed by Gita-ji to actually move from undesirable to righteous? And just by taking these 2 courses, it made me understand that, there is an inherent makeup about us being divine and demonic. There is an inherent makeup about having 3 gunas, the Rajoguna, the Tamoguna, and the Sattvic guna, and how what we eat, what we do actually reflects our behavior, and how Gita-ji prescribes or guides. Gita-ji doesn't prescribe, but guides in terms of what we can eat better, how we can act better, what is the abhyasa that we can do to actually control the undesirable behavior, whether it's in our personal lives, whether it's in professional lives. And I had questions like, does God want us to have sannyas or wants to have grihasthashram? Is it okay to seek more money while working hard? Is it okay to seek a promotion? All those questions that I had in my mind and I was not able to answer myself were answered in just these 2 classes. So, I got a lot out of it. And then one other thing that is very important for me as somebody from the East living in the West is me being able to connect with my kids and inculcate in my kids some of the roots of my culture and my religion. And this course allowed me the ability to do so. My son is a competitive swimmer. And when he goes and says, I didn't get the qualifying time of 31 seconds in my 50 free, for example, I now can actually quote from the Gita and tell him, you were not focusing on swimming faster, you were focusing on getting that time. So the whole concept of karma phala tyaga and non-desiring while making sure that you actually perform your karma, very important for me to realize and very important for me to have that conversation with my kids. So now my kids can actually appreciate, and they say in common parlance, they say, oh my God, Gita ji had this wisdom 9,000 years ago, and we're still struggling with it. So I think that was something that I took out of this course. So, given an opportunity to take this course again, I would do so. And I would do so multiple times because I still feel I'm learning, and I'm looking forward to my Vadana course with Guru Gopiji. Namo Nama to everyone. Thank you, Ankurji. Thank you, Gopiji.
Thank you, Paramji. Thank you very much for joining us.
Very good, very good. So we'll be sending a follow-up email, and we'll include one of the QR codes so that you can click in and then get into it. Is that okay, Gopiji? In the follow-up email, we'll have links and a little bit of that other stuff in the QR code. So Rashmiji, you'll get that QR code later. Neilji, I think Paramji really answered that question. As somebody who doesn't speak Sanskrit and went through it, I appreciate that, because obviously I was born in the West and I don't speak Sanskrit either, but I appreciate the stepwise nature of how we are going through this. And then Vinaji also asked, so will the Gita in this course be taught in order, or you're kind of focusing on certain shlokas in a category and then going back and forth? What is kind of the order of how you're going to be going through this?
So at this point, I would like to share once again. So we are not doing this course in the same order as Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We have taken the approach to pick and choose some of the different shlokas from across Bhagavad Gita relating to a particular topic. And there are 17 topics, as I mentioned. Now that's what you can see on the screen. We have the nature. So this topic is about what is nature and what is it composed of, how is it created. And now across the 18 chapters, we picked up these 8 shlokas from different chapters and put them under the category, the nature. And likewise, the body. So what is Bhagavad Gita got to say about the human body, the composition of the human body, and what kind of foods are suitable, or what kind of foods, kind of reflect a different kind of gunas. So all of those sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic aspects, which are again across different chapters, we pick them up and then put up in this category called the body. And then the mind. So about the mind, sense objects. So what are the sense objects and how are they composed? So we will see from across different chapters, the selected shlokas relating to the topic of the sense objects. And then sense control, the sthita prajna lakshana, and sense gratification. From that is the 6 lessons completes 1 module, and this whole module is called Deha. And then we have the next, starting from the 7th, physical wisdom, social wisdom, occupational wisdom, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Now, when we are talking about these titles, these themes, we are selecting again shlokas from different across chapters of Bhagavad Gita relating to the theme of physical wisdom, relating to the theme of social wisdom. So what is the composition of society, the Chaturvarnam, all those categories of the society, the structure of the society, the 4-fold order of the society. So Bhagavad Gita has very much information about all these things. We have picked and put them across under these topics. So again, karma marga, often there is a question, which is the better marga? Is it karma marga better, or a gnana marga better, or a dhyana marga better, or a bhakti marga better, or a combination of all four is better? So each of these lessons, again, we have shlokas from across different chapters that talk about karma yoga, talk about jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, and bhakti yoga. So to answer your question, we have not gone by the same sequence of Bhagavad Gita. Rather, I mean, with all respects to every chapter, we kind of picked from across. The only intention is not to limit with these 140 shlokas for your life. No, so these 140 shlokas is to just begin the journey of Bhagavad Gita. And then the whole Bhagavad Gita is in front of us to take on. And there are many courses available. A lot of these courses are available free of cost. A lot of these courses are again are available in the YouTubes as a series of lectures by different acharyas. So most of these courses are free of cost. But what we have done is a totally different kind of structure to the course, where we have invested a lot of resources and time and advanced tools, the smart tools, and structured it into a procedure. And it requires a systematic approach of learning, recommended at least. And Hindu University of America provides that platform. It provides the beautiful platform and also the learning management system that actually enables this course for its pure potential, the fullest potential to deliver this course. And hence it is necessary to go through this process. And of course, it will have a little cost to it. And I'm glad HUA is also announcing some more discounts at this time. Good, Ankurji.
Yeah. Again, this is so important, so necessary, and we know other folks have access to it. But again, the structured learning system, the learning management system, the recordings of the courses that you will have access to in case you miss a course, all of the links and the documents, and GoPG obviously with this structure can give you that feedback in a sequence that takes you from beginner to not expert, but at least somebody who's more familiar with the Gita and can apply it. We had about 76 out of the 100 people still on. Fill out the survey. If you haven't, please just let us know yes, no, maybe you're interested. If you have questions, we'll be following up with the email. Dhavalji kind of started this off with that question of how do I introduce this to our teenage kids, right? How do we actually make this accessible? And so I think that's a really important question that I just like to throw back at you, and just, this is accessible for everyone really, and you've created in a way that is welcoming and opening. And is this, which, I mean, I think this is why you're offering it. This is the best structure and model that you've been able to come up with, and Hindu University of America is proud to partner with you to present it to more and more people.
Yes, Ankurji. So particularly the beginners, be it of teenage, be it of adult age. So the course enables the whole learning process, and particularly to the teenagers and the younger, beginners who are younger, they will like it when you have certain tools, when they are puzzled to do something. And that puzzle that is not going to scare them away, but then drag them in. And we only have created this course, and the tools of this course will only puzzle you to the point that it drags you into the course. We don't try to scare you away from the course. So that is a kind of a thin line of difference we have drawn to ourselves while structuring the course. And I'm sure teenagers particularly, and even the younger children, will be faster in their learning process. The youngest of my student in previous batch was 8 years old. And the eldest of my previous batch was 82 years old. So I had in my class an age group that has ranged from 8 to 82. So the course is open for all, and sitting in the same class, despite your age gap, you will enjoy the course. And we have seen it happening in the past.
Great. We had Louis already registered. Glad to see that's already in there. And so now a lot of people are interested in the books and just asking questions. Are they available just through your website? Should they just go through the course? Can they order more than one book? Is that something that you've dug into and shared more broadly than in the courses you're offering?
So yeah, books are available with the course as of now. And in isolation from the course, I tell you the reason. We have tried to take a kind of a captive approach for the dissemination of these courses, meaning to say we try to offer it to a school, for example, in India, as a co-curricular activity, and hence the school and we are in a kind of an agreement about how are we going to conduct this course, and hence we have a kind of a very professional trained prabodhaks, as we call them, who can handle the subject in a right sequence and deliver to the people. So the books are still not available as a general resource in the market. They are only available through the course, through the particular institution, and you are free to buy as many as you want. So that's again left to you. So very soon, once you are registered into the course, next email will be like, okay, do you want 1 copy of it or 2 copies of it? And you're free to choose. And right now we have to ship it from India, but we will figure out how to do it, and we will address that point.
Great. Nageshi says, I just registered. If I don't do it now, I never will. Thank you for registering right now. And so again, in the workbook aspect of it, that's incorporated into the cost of the course. We're not going to charge you extra or part of the discount.
It is in addition to the course fees. Each book is $20, and 3 of them is what you need to buy. So right now we haven't included this into the course fees. Okay. The course fees is not including the cost of the books at this point in time. And the reason why we couldn't include it into the course fees itself is because we are not sure about, by the time it reaches a home in USA, what would be the input cost, from the logistics point of view, from the other points of view, the customs duties, I don't know how they're different. So since we could not have a kind of a precise point, so right now what we have taken is these 2 are separately available, and we see in future how it goes, but right now it's like this.
Yeah, and we'll continue to update and figure out how to lower the cost and make it more accessible and all of that. So that's one of the reasons why we're offering this discount also, to alleviate some of that cost. So I think your total cost will be around $200 with the 3 books, but we'll figure that out as we go forward, and you register, and we'll just work it out with you. Thank you for elaborating on that, Gopiji. Yeah, answer that question. We're coming close to the end. I think we've gotten through a lot of the questions. HUA is offering many different courses because of the vastness of Sanatana Dharma and the different aspects, but at the start, at the core, is the Bhagavad Gita in a lot of ways for people to get immersed and plugged in. And so we're glad that you are here for this webinar. We hope you, along with Louis and Michaela and some of these other folks who've already signed up, will join this exciting course. As Gopiji said, from 8 to 82, wherever you're at, from India to Los Angeles, anywhere in between, we're happy to have you on board, participate, answer questions, bring you along with us. The timing is going to be 11 a.m. Eastern to 12:30 p.m. Eastern every Saturday. And I'll just drop that in the chat and the link to the course where you can register right there. Please click that. You can get all the details a little bit more just written down, and you can register right through there. Gopiji, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Everyone, thank you for being on. Gopiji, I'll give you closing words, and hopefully we'll see you at the next webinar on next Saturday with Phil Goldberg on how Hindu Dharma transformed America. And we are going to continue to elevate and platform people like Gopiji so that we can get this important knowledge and wisdom in a way that's structured, organized, accessible, fun, engaging, because that's what we need to do. And that's what Hindu University of America is going to continue to do with your help, participation, and support. Gopiji, closing thoughts?
So I really look forward to see as many of you into the next class. Each tool has been very carefully designed, very meticulously designed, and each of it is very important for this course. The books, the textbooks, which are freely downloadable, the guided audios, they are not separate tools. There is an integrated approach of learning. So each of these components are necessary, and together they make the learning process much easier and effective. And each of this resource is a kind of investment for life. I still have some of my books which I used in my school days, and those early days, whatever I wrote in them, and that was so helpful and guiding, that I preserved those books even till today. And today, when I have my children going to the school, I see how valuable it was to preserve these books, and they see that in my shelves and say how much care and importance that we gave to the kind of knowledge that we derived from our schools, and they are trying to emulate the same thing. These particular books are going to be an asset for your life. Bhagavad Gita personalized to you, and the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita personalized to you, and the interpretations, you are going to write your own contents, your own meanings from this whole process. And be sure that after completion of sadhana, sodhana, and vadana, 3 courses, you will not be kind of getting into a state of imbalance despite whatever the kind of situation that you encounter. Now, I have seen it in my life very personally, and also seen in our family and many friends that have been through this course. With the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, that's the beauty, that is the strength that Bhagavad Gita builds in us. We would never be kind of going away from the balance and bewildered or shocked for any kind of situations. I don't have time to explain some of those examples. In my previous course, I have a couple of students who lost due to Corona some very dear ones, and they said how useful this course was in coming out of that sorrow, and they even wrote an article, and it is available in the blog, Hindu University of America blog. I encourage you to please kindly go and see those testimonials and how they worded it. So that's an example, but take it. It's an investment for life, and I will be pleased to be part of this learning process with you.
Namaste all. Dhanyavad. Thank you all. Thank you, Gopiji.